I'm pretty confident in saying that female power means the end of our species. It just means extinction. People can have all the debates and discussions and fight for rights and protests and make all these laws and make all these videos and have all these theories that they want, but the truth is the rise in female power and independence has completely plummeted the birth rate. So I think that's really the only signal that you need. I mean, you shouldn't make it more deep than it is. I mean, it's really not that complicated. I just don't think female power is compatible with the flourishing and the growth of the species. I think it means extinction, unfortunately. I don't think women would ever see this or admit it, or I think they would just pursue power and control. Just with no regard for, they're just full speed ahead, breaking the wings off the plane. They got no brakes, and you can't tell them anything because they don't listen to us. And now they've gotten a taste of power and independence and freedom, and so I mean, they're not going to give it up. So, and men are pretty stupid, and they just want pussy. So I mean, we're probably fucked, to be honest. I'm pretty sure we can't stop this. I'm pretty sure what's happened over the last 200 years or 100 years is men have just become more effeminate, right? They've just become more like women in their behavior and in their thinking. So, I don't think this trend stops, really. I mean, look, we can make all these videos that we want about how we have to, what men have to do or whatever, but I don't think anybody's really gonna listen, bro. I think we're just a small minority we're dying at this point. I think the species is just going to be biologically re-engineered via social conditioning. Women are yes, maybe men are stronger naturally and they're more callous and assertive and selfish, and they are more capable. But if your mind can be changed, if you can be swayed, if you can be persuaded, whoever controls the minds of a population are the most powerful ones. And women are better at this than men. So they, if you want my honest opinion, I don't really think that masculinity is coming back. Traditional masculinity, what we knew as masculinity for all of human history, is gone, is dead and gone, and I don't think it's coming back. And I think that the species is not going to get more um, men and women are not going to be more different, which is what we had when the birth rate was high, and which is what you need to have a high birth rate. You need extreme difference between men and women. It's too far gone at this point. That we've passed the event horizon. Um, I think, and the unfortunate thing is, women don't really. I don't think they would necessarily care about the extinction of the species. I think power and control is really more important to them, and they can't accept. They'll never accept, in fact, that their power and control and independence and freedom is uh, directly correlated with the extinction of the species. They'll never admit that until probably it's like too late or something. Um, they don't want to give up power and control. I think they would rather just let. I think they would rather let the species die than give up power and control. Um, I don't really think they want to be happy. I don't think they understand what makes them happy. You can't convince them of anything anymore. Uh, we can't get through to them. You know what I mean? So um, they will only make men more effeminate. We are only going to see men and women become more and more close, right? Women are in what that means is, because they're coming closer, that means that men are becoming more like women and women are becoming more like men, until we have sort of a homogenous sort of um, asexual sort of race where I don't know how you continue the species like that. It's very dystopian. There's almost no sexual attraction between these beings. It might just be the way that we have to go now, because what's the role of men anymore? Women have everything. What they needed us for in the past, they don't need that anymore. They they're protected from consequences. And nature doesn't protect you from consequences. Consequences are abundant and very real and inescapable in nature. Um, you know, for the longest time, women there was no such thing as birth control. So if you were having sex with men, there was a high likelihood that you would have a baby. So you couldn't really be promiscuous unless you wanted to have multiple babies by multiple men, and then you would be outcast and ostracized or probably killed for being unfaithful, and your unfaithfulness would be known around the tribe, around the group, or whatever. So there was no such thing as having sex with men and not having any sort of consequence for it. Um, but now women can do that en masse. The whole globe of women are having mass sex and promiscuous sex because there's no consequence for it, and they can hide it all with their phone. No, there's not small knit groups or tribes or anything where word gets around or anything like that, or where it's if she wants to sleep with multiple people, it's very difficult for her to arrange that while keeping it hidden from her partners. Whereas now that's basically just super easy. She can drive, all of them have cars, all of them make their own money, all of them live by themselves. And so they can get away with stuff like this. And, they can have, not only can they sleep around and they can be on birth control, they can also have abortions if they ever get pregnant. They can stop having a kid, so there's no consequence for even getting pregnant anymore. you know Back in nature, if it was more of the natural law and the way of nature is, if you get pregnant, I mean, you're having that baby, you're carrying it to term and you're birthing it, and you're dealing with the very real threat to your life of birthing it, and then you're gonna have to raise it. You're gonna have to raise it. If you don't want to raise it, then what that meant for all of human history. If you didn't want to raise your child, was you had to kill it. Nobody else is going to raise it. So what, are you going to kill your child? That would do immense emotional damage to you. But this is something that women can just do all the time now. I mean, women have multiple abortions, by the time they're, 18, 19, 20. So, and not only this, a lot of them are probably going to be infertile by the birth control that they're taking. It's terrible for their hormones. It's ruining them. It's probably making them all more masculine. I think that's why all these women are so masculine, and that's probably why birth control is just, why we even created it, is it makes women more masculine. It literally shuts off their own production of their own hormones, and it's terrible for them. It's terrible for them. It's probably doing unknown harm to their bodies, and no wonder these women just can't. They don't even like men. They're not attracted to us. They're just mean and domineering, and they want to conquer the world and all this stuff, and they're feminist and radicalized. But even if they had children nowadays, that doesn't even mean anything now, because they can just get men, a bunch of simpy men, because there's now a lot more effeminate men, and they can just marry a guy who's stupid and have him raise the kids. Now he's a stay-at-home dad, and he's raising the kids, and she can go and make all her money and sleep around and have her cake and eat it too, sort of thing. And she's basically, she spends the least amount of time with her kids out of anybody. She could get a nanny too. A lot of them get nannies or daycares. So half of your child's childhood until they go to school is they're being taken care of and looked over by somebody else and not you. And because you have to work, and you can't be a full-time stay-at-home mother. So there's no consequences. You see how this is a protection from consequences. That's what society has become, is protection from consequences. Your feelings are protected. Women are incentivized to, single mothers are incentivized by the government, because they know if they just have children and they don't have to be with men, they can have children with a man and then leave him, because then they get money from the government. And so their lack of being able to bond with a man, or be attractive to a man, or be a committed partner, that is protected. The consequence to that is protected via stipends and money from the government. Will help you. Are you a single mother? And the more kids you have, actually, the better. We'll give you even more money. And obviously, the legal system, we all know this. You actually get child support from the guy, and this is something that men let happen. This whole child support thing. So actually, it's actually benefits her to separate from the man as well, for that reason, to get even more money. And this has all been done by women convincing men, persuading men listening to women. And I'm telling you, I don't think this reverses. It doesn't get better. I truly believe, like, I honestly want you guys to understand that I think that the species is going to go extinct, or it's going to go in a sort of asexual, weird, sort of homogenous type being, where there's not really any sex being had. There's the birth rate is negative, and it'll be like that until, I don't know what, maybe this whole dynamic of what we had set up was good for life as it was. But what we've done, all these things we've created, all this technology that men have created, all this stuff that we've done, which is all in the name of trying to get sex from women. We've created all this abundance and all this convenience that protects them from their consequences of their choices. they can get on meds now, right? They can get on antidepressants and antipsychotics, and um, they can, you know, it's no longer meritocratic in, going to school. It's not about um, who has the best grades or who's the most capable. There's diversity quotas now. There's, your school has to be a certain percentage women, your job, your corporation has to be a certain percentage women. And this means that it's no longer a meritocracy. It just means that it's you're it's no longer about the best of the best, right? That's how it is in nature. It's the best of the best. Stakes are high, and it creates the best of the best, right? Consequences, pain for being not good enough, not fast enough, not strong enough, not alert enough. If you let your guard down at all, you'll see with animals that the price is your life. Or your leg, or your children, or everything. The stakes are extremely high. And that is how you create a society that is very strong and robust, and the birth rate is high. And, you create very, very distinct differences between male and female, that have different roles and are suited to different things. And all of this difference creates all this difference in roles and abilities, creates a very balanced, cohesive, um, familial, nuclear family dynamic. It's very healthy to raise kids, but this is just not the society we live in anymore. Everything, you're protected from everything, you know. You're feeling it's feelings over uh, function, over ability, over reality. No, people don't like reality. Women don't like reality, and so they've created a society that is anti-reality. It's anti-reality. It is pro-fantasy, pro-coddling, pro-protect you from all consequences. And I don't think that there's any reversing this. I think it's too far gone. I think men are too stupid. They're too lustful. They just think about trying to get sex, and they'll just believe what women tell them. Lies about love, and you're doing what you got to do to make her happy, and so you can get pussy, or you're just trying to do whatever you can to get pussy. And so it's just, you're not willing to be a bad guy. You're not willing to put her in her place. You're not willing to tell her, consequences have to be, enforced. Consequences are very necessary. And it's just, it's the end. I think it's the end of masculinity. It's the end of men. I think this just it's the end of women too, right? It's the end of femininity too. It's now converging. And you watching this video, you're the last of a dying breed. So am I. And, it's just how it goes. So biological reengineering via social conditioning is what is on the menu, and that's what's been being enforced for a long time now, and it's what's going to continue, because women own the minds, right? They own the legal system. They own men, right? So I just think it's over. So how you like them black pills, huh? They go down real easy. Take a black pill. Relax. Enjoy it. Put on some Tool. 10,000 Days. Vicarious. What's another good one off that album? Fuck. Anyway, that's it.